Hi everyone, it's Jay here, and these are the manga and manhwa releases for the first half of November. Starting with the Kodansha releases, Don't Toy With Me, Ms. Nagatoro Volume 20. Now officially a couple, there is only one challenge Nagatoro and Senpai have left to conquer, their first kiss. But even the honeymoon phase of new love can be fraught with friction, and soon Senpai makes a mistake so big it leaves Nagatoro in tears and their relationship hanging by a thread. With entrance exams and all sorts of new anxieties looming, can they patch things up before graduation parts them for good? Fairy Tale 100 Years Quest Volume 19. Ignia's conversation with Natsu gets interrupted by Faris, but it's not the Faris that Natsu is familiar with. This Faris is from a different world, and she possesses an aura similar to Acnologia. Faris desires to bring death to all beings while representing the will of Acnologia and Black Wizards. A three-way war between dragons, humans and Black Wizards begins. Land of the Lustrous Volume 13. This is the final volume of the series, so go buy it on the 4th of November to see how it all ends. Miraculous Tale of Ladybug and Cat Noir Complete Manga Omnibus. Marinette is your typical high school student, cheery and a little clumsy. Not so typical though. She can transform into a superhero. As the confident masked ladybug, Marinette guards the streets of the City of Lights alongside Cat Noir, another superhero who, unbeknownst to Marinette, is her classmate Adrian and her crush. This is all 3 volumes of the best-selling Miraculous manga in a large-sized, all-in-one edition. Mushishi Collector's Edition Volume 1. Though invisible to most, tiny creatures known as mushi lurk beneath the surface of everyday reality. They exert a strange and occasionally terrifying influence on people's lives, and only experts known as mushishi carry the knowledge of how to deal with them. A mushishi named Ginkgo wanders the Japanese countryside, following rumours of various unusual occurrences. A young man who dreams the future, a child with horns growing from his forehead, a boy with the power to write creatures into being, and more. Shoots Juliet Down Volume 1. Amidst the dark glamour of host club Velvet Kiss, Jury, also called Juliet, commands a vice-like grip on the number 1 position. Impressed by this poker-faced beauty's supreme reign, newbie and number 2 host Akatsuki decides he must learn Juliet's secrets and shoot him down from the top of the pack. But Akatsuki's first up-close taste of Juliet's intoxicating charm leaves him craving more than he'd expected, and as he may soon learn, some secrets are better left in their bottles, and the bullet that shoots through one heart might take out more than it bargained for. Thunder 3 Volume 7. Rising from the ashes, Rebellion's plot to rescue Futaba begins at last, but at the same time, alien crafts carrying hordes of forces appear all over the world, wiping out all of humanity apart from Japan in the blink of an eye. Guided by their captive, Gouda, the still grieving Thunder 3 move to take over an enemy ship, kicking off a gruesomely bloody battle on board. Meanwhile, in the Thunder 3's absence, the devious invaders turn their sights once more to Japan. Tune into the Midnight Heart Volume 4. Slowly but steadily, each of the Broadcasting Club members have been making strides towards their dreams. In order to get Iko one step closer to stardom, Arisu comes up with a new strategy: VTuber collabs. But first, Iko has to get the attention of the other VTubers, and what better way than leaning on one of her strengths: live gameplay. Windbreaker Volume 16. Unexpected reinforcements come to Furin's aid, and the group launch an explosive counterattack. As the all-out war continues, the current Furin members find themselves struggling to keep the former ones in check. Just when things seem bleak, Shishitoren makes a surprise appearance, effectively turning the tide of battle. Blue Period Volume 16. Despite placing in his first ever art competition, with the work he completed in Hiroshima, Yatoro continues to struggle with his skills and identity, even going so far as to question his future in the art world. This is only made worse by a new assignment, where he must set up a show with an artist of his choice. Last Samurai Standing Volume 3. In the year 1878, At Tenryuji Temple in Kyoto, a deadly game begins in which competitors must fight each other for tags needed to pass checkpoints along the Tokaido Highway. Greedy for the prize money, the assembled warriors begin a bloody battle, all ready to fight to the death. Amid the chaos, Shujiro Saga, a man in dire need of funds, rescues a young girl who is clearly out of her depth. The two survive an attack by the Shinsengumi, who bear a grudge against Shujiro and face opponents like Iroha, Shujiro's foster sister and master of secret fighting techniques, and the Mitsumono, three brothers who fight as one. Medalist Volume 11. Inori has entered the junior class of skaters where new challenges await. Thanks to Inori's rapid improvement and dedicated efforts in the novice class, Japan's Skating Federation has awarded her the right to skate in international tournaments. She works with coach Tsukasa to overcome persistent growing pains while preparing for the intense competition of the Grand Prix series, where she once again has her sights set on the gold medal. Senpai is an Otokonoko, My Cross-Dressing Classmate Volume 3. This webtoon is now in print in a full-colour edition. A cheerful high school girl, Saki, confesses her love to a pretty upperclassman, only to find out her senpai is actually a cross-dressing boy, Makoto. Caught between the straightforward Saki and his overly protective childhood friend Ryuji, who may have feelings for Makoto of his own, Makoto must navigate a complicated love triangle and chart his own course to happiness. The Ayakashi Hunter's Tainted Bride Volume 5. Nanao bumps into Shinobu, Yako's former fiancé. Apparently, Yako has drunk Shinobu's blood in the past, and Nanao is shaken by this revelation, but she believes in Yako. Unfortunately, Shinobu is relentless in trying to become Yako's bride, even manipulating the capital's news. Furthermore, kidnappings have increased in the capital, preventing Yako from returning home. One day Yako's brother, Takaya, whose engagement was broken off by Shinobu, visits and tells the confused Nanao that Yako has become Shinobu's personal bodyguard. Tower Dungeon Volume 3. Yuva and his companions have fallen into a trap set by the deserters from the Royal Guard, are grievously wounded and on the brink of annihilation. The traitors demand that Eriko hand over the Dragon's Bane, a legendary relic they seem to think he secretly carries. But even if they survive this deadly encounter, can the tiny band of adventurers really overcome the dangers of the labyrinth, defeat the necromancer, and rescue Princess Ignalia? Welcome to Demon School, Iruma-kun, Iru Mafia Edition Volume 2. Bolstered by some newfound confidence in his position as Babel's underboss, Iruma takes on his next mission, hiring talented new soldiers for the family business. Interviews begin, and who should come along but a gorgeous young man who seems cloaked in mystery. Beware the Villainess Volume 5. There's no rest for the Villainess. Following her grueling ordeal in the land of the werewolves, Melissa wants nothing more than to enjoy some well-deserved peace and quiet. But what awaits her is the exact opposite. Jake and Ian. She resigns herself to yet another exhausting day of babysitting these man-children, only to find them acting significantly less trashy than usual, almost like they're normal people. Just what could have gotten into these former degenerates? Dead Mount Deathplay Volume 14. An artifact of unimaginable power, capable of bridging the two worlds, a Wyvern scale, lies dormant beneath the abandoned hospital in Shibuya, but the convergence of power threatens to trigger untold destruction that will forge unlikely alliances for all those touched by the events transpiring in Shibuya. Having the Agakuras now seemingly in his corner is a boon, but as Polka and his friends delve further down the rabbit hole created by this other world and its denizens, can he rely on these newfound allies to pull him back from the brink should the chaos begin to swallow him up? Isekai Samurai Volume 2. After years of searching in vain for an honourable death, the samurai Ginko suddenly finds herself in a world of fierce, fantastical creatures. Having defeated the ferocious triple-necked basilisk, Ginko heads for the royal capital alongside her new friends Gibril and Miko. The young samurai is uncomfortable with the boredom of peace and the lack of foes to face, until the city is attacked by undead monsters. Could this be a worthy challenge at last? Magical Midlifer Volume 1 from Yen Press. Magical girls, They're the guardians of the people, vanquishers of witches, and defenders of the innocent, all while putting on flashy spectacles of mass, marketable entertainment. However, things aren't always so family-friendly behind the scenes. When the villains get too gruesome for Saturday morning TV, the youthful protectors are protected in turn by middle-aged men. These grizzled geezers have one job, using their wealth of experience and some kick-ass magic to support the mystical maidens from the shadows. See you in my 19th Life Volume 8. Seoha's investigation of the car accident from his childhood comes to a head when his favourite uncle is attacked. It's time to confront the mastermind, which changes Seoha's familial relationships and finally puts his memories of Ju Won-yun to rest after 23 years of regret. But what does that mean for his relationship with Jiunban? Takahashi from the Bike Shop Volume 3. Love is in the air as Tomoko and Ryohei's feelings for each other grow ever deeper. But when Ryohei witnesses Tomoko's boss sexually harass her in public, he immediately jumps into action and causes a scene. The resulting commotion stirs up trouble for Tomoko and nearly gets Ryohei arrested, and now the two just can't seem to see eye to eye. With such a huge rift forming between them, could this spell the end of their relationship? Tougen Anki, Legend of the Cursed Blood Volume 4. The Oni base below Kiyomizu-dera has been overrun by Tsubakiri's abominations. After fending off one Aguri, a second puts the devoted Kuina out of action. Now it's up to the cowardly Rokuro to get them both out in one piece. But the quivering boy who knelt there just moments ago is no longer. As Rokuro prepares to unleash his terrifying Oni blood, an unsettling deadly calm spills forth from him. Uncle from Another World, Volume 12. The duel between Uncle and the escaped Corpse King was everything a real gamer could hope for, until it was interrupted by a horde of monsters. A mutual enemy meant a temporary alliance, and a fierce display of terrifying powers. As the truth behind the attack was revealed, the two miraculous warriors discovered their unexpected connection. Ascendance of a Bookworm, Fanbook, Volume 5. This fifth Ascendance of a Bookworm fanbook is intended to be read after finishing Part 5, Volume 3. It is filled with even more materials for fans, such as character design sheets. Bocchi the Rock, Volume 7. Things are finally getting serious for Hitori Bocchi Goto and the rest of Kesoku Band. Nijika and Ryo are graduating. Bocchi is finding she's not quite so alone in class anymore. What's more, they'll be joined in concert by Klimt's Night, a hit musical duo who pack some real star power. In preparation, Kesoku Band is introduced to the group's reclusive songwriter, who's an even bigger introvert than Bocchi. Can they really make a successful indie debut while juggling two black holes of social anxiety? Campfire Cooking in Another World with My Absurd Skill, Volume 2. Mukoda Tsuyoshi's decided to leave the kingdom that summoned him, joined by his trustworthy familiar, Fel. Although Fel is powerful, the journey is not without its troubles. DN Angel New Edition Volume 1. This updated omnibus collection is bigger and better than ever, with full-colour chapter illustrations. It's 340 pages long. Today was the day. Daisuke Niwa was determined to tell the girl of his dreams how he feels about her, and maybe, hopefully, become her boyfriend. Except she flat out rejected him, and now he's stuck with his alter ego, the legendary Phantom Thief, Dark. That means both the police and his classmate Satoshi Hiwatari, the son of the police commissioner, are after him. And what's worse, the only way to stop the body swap is to woo the object of his affections as his usual klutzy self. Gushing Over Magical Girls Volume 5. A Normita Supreme Commander of Hiragi Utena, from just another baddie to the head of our secret organisation, so it's time to abuse their power and schedule beach days. Itaewon Class Volume 7. I'll See You Tonight. That was Seiroi's promise to Yiseo, the kindling sparks of their feelings for each other. Too bad the universe has other plans. Seiroi, coming to the rescue of Gyunsu, ends up beaten, bloody, and broken, and Yiseo, waiting for the romance she's been dreaming of for so long, instead receives news of the worst case scenario. Not So Wicked Stepmom Volume 7. The king of Nergan has been hugging everyone he meets. Everyone, except his wife, that is. Not sure what to make of Sabrian's odd behaviour, Abigail can't help but wonder why he seems to be avoiding her. To complicate matters further, Abigail's brother, Prince Kane Cronenberg, arrives for a visit. What initially seems like a touching reunion between siblings takes a turn when his treatment of her dredges up some nauseating memories from Abigail's past life. Dealing with a brother she can hardly remember is difficult enough, but with her husband keeping his distance and her self-loathing threatening to consume her, will Abigail manage to keep her wits about her and make it through Kane's stay? Overgeared Volume 8. Life in SciFier never seems to slow down for Grid. Fighting the Yatan cult and managing his marriage with Irene, all while finding the time and resources to upgrade his gear, is taking its toll on the overgeared hero. His achievements are enough to garner the attention of Yura, the Blood Witch, servant of Yatan and third on the global rankings, who informs him that they'll be joining forces in the game's next big event. Enemies become allies and friends become foes in SciFier's first ever international competition. Cat plus Crazy Volume 2 from Dark Horse Comics. High schooler Kensuke Fuji loves cats, but can't have any of his own. Recently he's made the acquaintance of a local cat whisperer, Nekoya Jin, who seems to know everything about the feline realm. Kensuke's made it his goal to study under this ultimate cat whisperer and learn all about cats. Kamen Rider Cougar from Titan Comics. This is Volume 11. The battle against the Grongi intensifies as a new shadowy force emerges behind the scenes. As the deadly Grongi game, Gegeru, escalates, the powerful Gamego class appears, bringing with it an overwhelming sense of doom. But there's more at play than just monsters. Godai and his ally, Ichijo, are captured by a secret group called the Unidentified Lifeform Task Force Supervisory Committee, aiming to study Cougar's powers and develop a countermeasure to combat the Grongi and other threats. As the task force delves into Cougar's powers, the true danger becomes clear. What are the task force's real motives? And can Godai trust those claiming to have humanity's best interests at heart? The Raven Dark Hero Volume 1. In a world where superpowers are a gift to protect the weak and fight evil, Suo Koki has always dreamed of becoming a hero, but when his moment of despair awakens a hidden power, his dream quickly turns into a nightmare. Now armed with a dangerous ability, Suo finds himself on a path he never expected, one where the line between hero and villain is perilously thin. Do Women Need Sex Entertainment Volume 1. This is a funny and heartfelt journey of a young woman navigating the messy, chaotic world of self-discovery. With a mix of humour, awkward moments and tender realizations, she explores her sexuality and learns what she truly wants, before figuring out who she wants it with. In this charming coming-of-age manga, we witness a young woman attempt to juggle the everyday life of a career in the city, whilst constantly contemplating what she wants from her love life, and sometimes the two overlap. Dope Man Volume 3. In a dystopian Japan, where the legalization of all drugs has unleashed a wave of chaos, the D-Unit, the team of battle-hardened heroes, prepares for their ultimate showdown against the Dope Men, super-powered villains whose abilities are fueled by drug abuse. As the stakes reach their peak, the D-Unit arms themselves to the teeth, ready to face off against an array of monstrous foes. Find out how it all ends in this final volume. Cherry Blossoms After Winter Volume 3. As they graduate from high school and prepare for university, Seo Haebum and Jo Taesung have not only rekindled their friendship, but they're officially a couple. Haebum is blissfully happy, but he also feels more pressured than ever. Not only do he and Taesung have to hide their relationship, Haebum is also determined to do well in school and repay Taesung's mother for her generosity. Haebum and Taesung move out from home and start their freshman year of college, where Haebum is quickly overwhelmed by an intense class schedule and a whirlwind of student activities, not to mention all the girls who have their eyes on Taesung, but little does Haebum know, there might be someone sinister with their eyes on him too. From Sublime, Black or White Volume 11. Shin finally finds out the secret that Shige, and seemingly everyone else, has been hiding from him, but only after CEO Asakusa spills the beans. Not wanting to confront Shige, Shin tries to put the situation out of his mind so he can focus on his new role, which finally has him working side by side with his lover. But Shin's unnatural behaviour is making it clear to those around him that he now knows the truth. A Man Who Defies the World of BL Volume 2. The straight as an arrow protagonist is living life, doing his best to dodge the forest of boys' love flags springing up around him. At times he comes close to being knocked out of his NPC role and into some steamier main character action, but he manages to dodge and weave to stay firmly in his comfort zone. But how long can his fleet feet keep him one step ahead in this increasingly complex BL world? From Viz Media, Akane Banashi Volume 14. Akane is busy preparing for her promotion to Futatsume, and the process is taking a lot longer than she expected. For Akane's real performance as a Zenza, Shiguma entrusts her to the opening act for his solo performance. Will Akane be able to prove she's grown enough to ascend to the next level? Blue Box Volume 18. To celebrate everyone's hard work at Nationals, Taiki and the rest of the badminton team head to the beach. As luck would have it, Chinatsu's there for the basketball team's summer training camp, but instead of a fun, relaxing break, Taiki must endure the trials of an old friend to prove he deserves to be with Chinatsu. Colette Decides to Die Volume 5. After some tough love training by the entire underworld, the otter apprentice Kotsume faces his final test. Can he recover his position as a servant of Poseidon? Later, a near kiss from Lord Hades leaves Colette in confusion. Dark Gathering Volume 16. The final stage of Operation Bellflower Regicide begins, when Yayoi finally unleashes the full might of her graduates on Yin Jiao. The fates of Ai, Keitaro, Eiko, and Yayoi all hang in the balance as 7 of the deadliest ghosts Japan has ever seen square off against one truly monstrous god. Jujutsu Kaisen Volume 28. The plan to confiscate Sukuna's curse technique fails. Higuruma finds himself separated from Itadori and the others while confronting Sukuna one-on-one. Can Higuruma take down Sukuna while armed with only his sword? Meanwhile, Okotsu heads over to the most intense fighting in Shinjuku and opens his domain. Kagurabachi Volume 5. Chihiro sacrifices the enchanted blade, Cloud Goga, to seize back the Enten, the 7th blade. While attempting to rescue prisoners inside the storehouse, he struggles against Kyora's ability to manipulate the entire space. As the ferocious battle reaches its peak, a desperate Kyora, driven into a corner, unleashes a bit of the Shinichi's power. Naruto Shippuden, the official cookbook, featuring 35 recipes inspired by the anime Naruto Shippuden, including Jinchuriki takoyaki and Kakashi's special grilled mackerel. This cookbook is full of delicious recipes that will supercharge your cooking with the power of ninjutsu. Enjoy delicious ramen ichiraku, taste test Sasuke's favourite onigiri, and discover how to make Narutomaki, the ramen topping that Naruto himself was named after. Nue's Exorcist Volume 3. After losing to Gakuro, fellow exorcist Shiroha ends up living at the school under Nue's protection. However, Shiroha's days of peace are shattered by the arrival of her mentor, Moriyuki Fujino, who has come to take her back to her controlling family. In the battle to determine Shiroha's fate, his Shikigami easily backs Nue into a corner, but as always, Nue has something else up her sleeve. Prince Freya Volume 12. Freya and her band return to Tyr in time for Prince Edvard's birthday celebrations, where Freya goes before the public to signal Edvard's recovery from injury. Although the first day of festivities seems to go off without a hitch, a mysterious scheme is brewing in the shadowy corners of the capital, and the truth behind Edvard's assassination draws closer to light. Skip Beat Volume 51. Kyoko and the rest of the Japanese team are trying to settle into the Hollywood groove, but a promising start suddenly sours as their new American friends begin to distance themselves and the team falls victim to a series of mishaps. The hostility baffles Kyoko and the others, but for Ren, it's sadly familiar. Is his tragic past about to make a guest appearance on the new project? The Elusive Samurai Volume 17. The monstrously powerful Toki Yorito, who serves the Ashikaga, has brought his force to engage with Akie's army. His human bombs devastate Akie's troops, and even Tokiyuki's retainers have trouble stopping him. The march on Kyo continues as more of the Ashikaga troops deploy to defend the capital. You and I Are Polar Opposites Volume 7. Suzuki's birthday is here, and so it's Tani's turn to use everything he's learned since they started going out to provide a wonderfully romantic birthday date. Meanwhile, Yamada and Nishi take a further step toward officially becoming a couple, while Taira and Azuma are forced to confront the complicated feelings that keep getting in their way. I'm the Grim Reaper Volume 4. Scarlet's past collides with her present, as she's forced to reckon with the many lines she's crossed as both human and Reaper. Brooke, the Red Spades, and even the Angels have turned against her, pushing Scarlet and Chase's partnership to the brink. But in the end, it's the life of one lowly human that will inform Scarlet's ultimate choice: continue to avoid her fate in hell or fight back against Satan. This volume collects episodes 43 to 65 of the popular webtoon and has exclusive never-before-seen content. Kingdom Volume 1. Shin's journey begins when his friend, Piao, another war orphan who imparts to Shin the same dream of becoming the greatest generals under the heavens, is offered a position in court in the capital. He leaves Shin behind to train on his own and to meet him there one day. One fateful night, Piao returns blooded and on the brink of death, with his dying words being for Shin to go meet a boy who turns out to look exactly like Piao. But this is no ordinary boy. It's the King of Quinn, and assassins are hot on his tail. Mao Volume 22. Nanoka encounters an Ayakashi on her own and attempts to single-handedly exorcise it and save its host. But when she receives help from an unexpected source, her jealousy is triggered. Will dense Mao understand why? Then, yet more is revealed about the tangled truth behind Sana's death. One Piece Volume 110. With the help of the giant pirates, Luffy and crew may be able to escape Egghead alive, but they'll still have to get by the seemingly immortal Five Elders. Meanwhile, Dr. Vegapunk's broadcast may reveal a secret that will shock the whole world. Radiance Volume 19. During his ongoing quest for Radiance, Seth is reunited with his long-lost brothers, only to wind up facing a perplexing personal dilemma. He also spends further time in the mystical realm of the Seed, where he learns more of its mysteries. Meanwhile, Seth's friend Doc discovers what it means to be one of the Droplet Kids and learns how they fare in the slums of the great city of Bohm. Rai Volume 2. Following an explosive accident, Sumire's new life working for the Raiden Corporation has hit a bit of a road bump. Now with her team stuck in the contaminated ruins of old Tokyo until she gets her transformation under control, she's going to master her strange new powers, or die trying. Sakamoto Days Volume 19. When Slur takes what should be a lethal wound, he transforms, suddenly manifesting Akao's personality. Sakamoto and Nagumo are baffled to encounter what seems to be their long-lost friend, and the trio attempts to flee from the JAA. But when they come face to face with their most dreaded opponent, the Assassin Exhibition of the Century arc reaches its climax. Sakura Saku Volume 9. After rejecting Haruki's love confession, Saku tells herself it was the right thing to do, but Kotono disagrees and gives her some good advice. Will Saku find her path forward with Haruki? Star Wars Path of the Lightsaber Volume 1. The First Order rules the galaxy, but some still remember the Jedi Knights who once bravely defended the Republic. Nyoka, a resourceful young tinkerer, dreams of becoming a Jedi like the legendary Luke Skywalker. For now though, she keeps a low profile aboard Salva's ship, the Random Look, with her crewmate Baron, an enthusiastic supporter of the Resistance. During an expedition to a mysterious asteroid, Nyoka stumbles upon an incredible find: a lightsaber, the weapon of the Jedi. As she tries to figure out how to use it, she realizes others are after the artifact as well, seeking to use it for sinister purposes. Now she must protect the lightsaber and herself, while learning what it truly means to wield such power. Tsumiki Ogami's Not So Ordinary Life Volume 3. As the busy semester winds down and summer break approaches, Yutaka begins to worry that the friends he's made at school will forget to even exist over vacation. He wrestles with his anxiety until Tsumiki offers a simple solution: just ask to hang out. But Yutaka can't seem to find the right moment, and before he knows it, he's almost out of time. Can he get past his fear and ask his friends to meet up? Monster Cats Volume 3. Life continues to be creepy and cute for monster cats and their owners. Spend more time with your old feline monster friends and meet some new ones like a fairy, a golem, and even a kraken. Also from Seven Seas Entertainment's Winter Wolf Volume 1. This webtoon is about a woman who attempts to flee the kingdom that killed her family. She winds up stranded in a curious mansion with a man who can help her escape. Lysithia Hilaire Delarman is a woman on the run. After a dangerous revolt claimed the lives of her family, Lysithia employs the broker Taron Cardis to help her escape the kingdom before she meets the same deadly fate. But Taron isn't exactly the easiest man to work with, and the two spend most of their transactional relationship with plenty of bickering and arguing. That is, until an unexpected snowstorm leaves them stranded in an eerie, abandoned mansion. Now, Lysithia and Taron must put their differences aside to survive the cold. As the temperature drops outside, things inside the mansion heat up as a burning desire ignites between them. Will they resist the pull towards each other, or will temptation lead them down a more dangerous path? Cupid is Struck by Lightning Volume 1. First-year high schooler Shingo is a one-man information network. He'll find out whatever you want to know. For the right price, lunch in most cases, he'll find out whatever you want to know about your crush using his top-notch conversational skills and easygoing nature. But Shingo meets his match in the handsome yet terrifying second-year student Ao, a boy whose gloomy presence doesn't hurt his popularity one bit. For some reason, Shingo gets tongue-tied around Ao, but when he uncovers a secret about the older boy, one that has something to do with the mysterious scar on his face, he notices his feelings begin to change. This is from the creator of I Didn't Mean to Fall in Love. Demon Under the Waxing Moon. Minoru has spent his life attracting demons, but he's learned to live with their unwanted attention. That is, until the night he rescues what appears to be a sickly stray dog, only to discover it's actually a demon in disguise. Stripped of his true name, the demon has been left powerless, a shadow of what he once was. To regain his strength, the demon binds Minoru into an unholy pact, one that demands more than just blood. Their nights together should be nothing more than transactional, and yet, as the demon's touch grows more possessive, and Minoru's defences begin to wane, something unspoken stirs between them. Dear Door Volume 1. This is a supernatural BL webtoon series. After a devastating personal loss, Kyung-jun wants nothing more than to drown his grief in the silence and safety of his houseplants. But Kyung-jun is also a cop, and it's a cop's job to go after criminals. Hot pursuit of a suspect leads to Kyung-jun discovering signs of cult activity. Soon the policeman is caught up in the machinations of monsters and demons, the worst of which is the Demon King, Lord Kane, whose survival in this world depends on mana that can only be accessed through a door. Kane's door happens to be inside Kyung-jun, and these two will have to get up close and very personal to open it. Took me 3 attempts to say that without laughing. Whew. Punch Drunk Love Volume 4. Communication is not Park Seon-woo's strong suit. It's made him enemies at work who now want to send him packing. But worse than that, it's made Mr. Jeong think Seon-woo's parents abused him. Hoping to clear up the matter, Seon-woo brings Mr. Jeong home to meet his parents, but that only creates new misunderstandings. Fortunately, it seems to bring the two even closer together, to Seon-woo's delight and Tae-moon's bewilderment. And as Seon-woo starts to follow Mr. Jeong's advice about improving his appearance, he notices a big change in how his co-workers treat him, a change that makes Tae-moon seethe with jealousy. The Long Summer of August 31 Volume 3. Slowly but surely, things between Suzuki and Takagi are starting to heat up. A bit of shy hand-holding at karaoke leads Takagi to insist Suzuki stay overnight at her house until the loop restarts, but once he arrives, it seems like she's less interested in making out and more worried about the ghost she believes is haunting her. Are there even more supernatural forces at play, or is something else haunting their almost relationship? Yokai Cat Volume 10. Two new cats join the yokai party. The kamikiri is good to have around if you need your haircut, as long as you're not particular about style. And the mysterious Tsuchinoko will slide right into your heart. The Big Apple Volume 4. Time has run out. The day of Jo Chim's mission has arrived. He has two options: fulfill his duties as a sniper or die, but things don't go as planned, and he soon finds himself face to face with the Grand Master of the Knights Templar. At 2500 in Akasaka Volume 5, with Hayama Asami filming a movie in the UK and Shirasaki Yuki starring in a TV drama, the two actors have to make their relationship work across different time zones. Shirasaki is ready for his leading role, but the director is an authoritarian bully from his past. Meanwhile, Hayama has to play the hardest role of his career, depicting his novelist father. Hopefully, their support for each other can cross the distance between continents. My Goddess is Precious Today Too, Volume 1. A sweet collection of stories about goddess-like girls and the disaster girls who love them from afar. They start off as friends, total opposites who watch each other from afar, or maybe they're locked in a fierce competition. Either way, they can't stop thinking about one another. These fluttery feelings can only mean one thing: first love. Our Family, Now and Forever, Volume 1. Naguru once lived a rough life as the leader of a gang, getting into fights in order to protect his friends. His loved ones all admired his strength and kindness, but also worried that his dangerous lifestyle would get him killed. When Hirao first met Naguru, he didn't know about the man's gang affiliation. All Hirao knew in that moment was that he wanted to spend the rest of his life with Naguru. Thanks to Hirao's love, Naguru found a new path and a new future. Now the former gang leader is a devoted father, raising their adorable son, Toa, alongside the man who changed his life. Mocha, the Cat and His Forever Family, Volume 1. Mocha is a male calico cat, an extremely rare combination said to bring good luck. Abandoned on the streets as a kitten, now he's spoiled by his adoptive humans who love his typical cat moods and mischief. Whether he's walking on the book they're trying to read, climbing the curtains, or just doing a big stretch, he'll put a smile on your face just like he does for his family. My Cute Cousin Always Gets Her Way, Volume 1. When Nozomu ends up having to spend his summer vacation at his uncle's house, his main concern isn't being stuck in the middle of nowhere with nothing but hills and rice fields all around. It's his cousin So. This tan tomboy is cute and full of prep, but has zero respect for Nozomu's personal space, or his authority as her older cousin. And to make matters worse, whether intentional or not, her clingy behaviour almost makes it feel like she's coming on to him. Will Nozomu's poor heart survive until the end of this summer, or will he end up as obsessed with her as she seems to be with him? It's Just a Dream, right? Volume 1. This is a supernatural BL webtoon. When 24-year-old Jungo answers an ad seeking an assistant for a shaman, he expects a straightforward part-time gig. The ad called for someone strong, patient, and quick on their feet. Perfect for Jungo. But when he arrives, he's thrust into a bizarre world where the rules are anything but ordinary. His boss, Shin Ibum, is a grumpy yet undeniably cute shaman, cursed with uncontrollable arousal due to a nightmare seedling. As Ibum's assistant, Jungo must help him navigate this strange situation while working inside people's dreams. But the deeper they dive into the dream world, the more bizarre and unpredictable things become, especially as Jungo finds himself battling a growing attraction to his mysterious boss. Daily Report About My Witch Senpai Volume 5. Misono and his witch senpai, Shizuka, are more in love with one another than ever before. Better yet, Shizuka isn't worried anymore about being seen as odd for being a witch. But just as it looks like things are settling down, a new employee named Niwa joins the company, and she's a total witch fanatic. Soon enough, Niwa started a social media site for witches and pushed Shizuka right back into the spotlight. Pet Shop of Horrors Collector's Edition Volume 4. Leon is convinced that Count D is up to no good, but finding the evidence to prove it continues to be difficult. When he asks D to look after his little brother, it's with the hope that Chris might dig up some dirt on the Count. However, it's not long before Chris lands himself in a hairy situation and drags Count D along for the ride. My Kitten is a Picky Eater Volume 6. While visiting his family, Tayo encounters a stray and her kittens in need. The budding cat dad takes the furry family in, though he's not quite sure how best to help. With his older and somewhat estranged brother Daichi in tow, Tayo heads to the cat cafe for advice from Utako, a local cat expert and Tayo's friend. As Daichi and Tayo learn more about cat care, the tension between them eases. Can kittens bring these two brothers closer together? I'm in Love with the Older Girl Next Door Volume 3. Summer has now come and gone, and Tasuku and Shia have found themselves starting to truly understand one another. Although Tasuku has already spent all this time trying to prove himself a capable and mature boyfriend, it's only now that he's properly thinking about what it means to date someone. But will his next attempt at asking her out go better than they have before? Has he finally surmounted the insurmountable? Virgin Marriage, A Maiden Voyage into Passion's Embrace Volume 3. Kurumi and ethology professor Keiichiro are more than happy with their peaceful life now that they've connected both their hearts and bodies. Things are going well, and the couple even plan a trip together. But even the best laid plans can go awry when both Kana and Ritsuki invite themselves along. Sex Drive, My Sneaky Underling Volume 2. Iroha Anna is a member of the espionage organization Chinoi Seri, and a veteran spy who uses her powers as a Vina to seduce men. She's less than thrilled when she gets partnered with newbie Nakamura Yusuke, a boring guy with glasses. But when they're alone, it soon becomes clear he's not as vanilla as she first assumed. Reliving My Life with a Boyfriend Who Doesn't Remember Me, Volume 5. Oriana is going to the ball with Vincent. Though they're not going as a couple, Oriana is just happy she can remain by his side. All seems to be going well for everyone until an incident with Yana and Azrak occurs. Yana must marry whoever defeats Azrak in a duel, but because Azrak is so strong, no one can best him. Or at least that's what everyone thought. Chronicles of an Aristocrat Reborn in Another World, Volume 13. At the King's request, Cain von Silford journeyed with fellow young nobles from the Royal Academy to various cities in order to learn about how other governments run. Whilst visiting the Federation of Ersten, Cain came into conflict with Malf Bandega, the son of a powerful parliament member. The law proved to be on Cain's side, and not content with the legal victory, Cain also secretly saved a young demon. In his wake, Malf burns for revenge and seeks out another of Cain's rivals. Will Cain's recklessness finally get the better of him? Too Many Losing Heroines, Volume 4. Is there any excuse for a high school girl to be going out alone with her crush who already has a girlfriend? That's exactly what Nukumizu and Yanami are determined to find out. When they spot Yaki Shio alone with her childhood friend Ayano, the two team up with his girlfriend Chihaya to figure out what on earth is going on. He might already be taken, but Lemon's not yet ready to let go of her feelings. Could she be planning a boyfriend heist? The Two Perfect Saints, Tossed Aside by My Fiancé and Sold to Another Kingdom Volume 4. After seeing her sister save the neighbouring country from a demonic invasion, Mia vows to take revenge on the man who betrayed Philia, the second prince, Julius. Meanwhile, Philia has an audience with the king of Parnacotta to request aid for her hometown, even if it once spurned her for being insufferably perfect. Bolstered by support for the first time in her life, Philia begins to hatch a secret plan that could reach all corners of the globe. Failure Frame, I Became the Strongest and Annihilated Everything with Low-Level Spells, Volume 11. The Demon King's army advances, opposed on several fronts by both humans and demi-humans. Princess Catlia, who Toka's elven ally, Seras, once served, joins the fight to the south, only for a horde of golden-eyed monsters to attack her base. Meanwhile, Soga Ayaka is the last one standing against a wave of terrible foes. Wolf's Daughter, A Werewolf's Tale Volume 2. As Tsukina prepares for her university entrance exams, she worries about her newly discovered nature as a werewolf, and how it makes her different from other people. To learn more about her kind, Hayate invites her to the winery run by his family. They're all black wolves who believe in living alongside humanity, and Tsukina feels comfortable for the first time, but the peace doesn't last. A mysterious white wolf starts fighting with Hayate over Tsukina. Yakuza Reincarnation Volume 14. Ryu and company have arrived at the Kingdom of Elves, where the king may very well hold the key to breaking Ryu's curse. They'll need to play their political cards right, but while planning their next step, Nui runs into a childhood friend. But this is no friendly reunion. Instead, Nui is told to run. Just what's going on in the land of elves? Seduced by the Demon King, A Sensual Rebirth Volume 4. The Demon King swore to destroy his former rival by granting her true happiness in order to make her fall from grace all the more destructive. However, he failed to consider that Haruka needed him to fall for her just as hard. Now life seems very nearly perfect. That is, until Vanitas, the Demon Lord's loyal servant, launches a merciless attack to deal with an unprecedented crisis. Is the love between a former saint and the ultimate Demon King destined for devastation? No God in Eden, Volume 4. 3 days have passed since classmates Takai and Nishio were overtaken by mysterious heat and uncontrollable urges. Takai begins to notice that not only is he physically changing, but his demeanour towards Nishio is quickly becoming more aggressive and dominant. Frightened by what he's becoming and struggling to make sense of these new feelings, Takai is left with one question: are his new desires driven by love or something more primal? From Tokyo Pop, we've got these 2 volumes, but I spoke about these last month. I'm assuming the release date changed for them, but just to make you aware that these are now being released on the 4th of November. Also from Tokyo Pop, Never Let Go Volume 3. Finally settled under one roof, the gentle-hearted alpha Haruto and his amiga mate Miyabi are living a sweet and peaceful life side by side. Haruto, smitten with his live-in lover, contemplates their future together, and one word comes to mind: marriage. However, the once wounded Miyabi, who was abandoned by his family, wonders if it's the right way to go. Perhaps it's time to finally put Miyabi's fears to rest, so they can build the happy family they both deserve. Do You Really Want Only a Meal Volume 2. Now happily dating, Masamune Hanzawa takes his boyfriend, Natsuki, on a birthday trip, but he unfortunately spends the whole time worrying he hasn't done enough. When they run into Natsuki's mum at the train station, she thanks Masamune for taking care of her husband and son. Inspired, they decide to come out to Natsuki's parents about their relationship. But in a world where same-sex relationships face societal resistance, how will Natsuki's family react? As love meets uncertainty, Masamune and Natsuki must navigate uncharted waters together. In the Twilight of Our Adolescence, a story about boys who grow from boys to adults during adolescence and who worry, make mistakes, and gradually come to terms with the many facets of life. Tanahashi Yusei is a popular boy who excels in both academics and sports and naturally has people gathering around him. Yusei has a classmate he admires, but he can't tell anyone about him. That person is Nakagawa, an inconspicuous boy who his friends don't even seem to notice. The two become closer after a certain incident. From Square Enix, By the Grace of the Gods Volume 13. The founding festival brings great joy to Ryoma and his employees, as they enjoy all that the festival has to offer. After the festival comes to an end, Ryoma returns his focus to his main goal of raising his level as an adventurer, to make the journey through the Surus jungle. Luckily, the guildmaster of the Adventurers Guild gives him a job hunting tree ants, which is perfect practice to prepare for Ryoma's journey. But the practice becomes perilous when an elder treant makes an appearance. The Emperor's Caretaker Volume 5. Linhua and company head to Heiyang, the capital of Guangyan, on an official visit. Emperor Ziyu is captivated by the vibrant city, but Linhua finds herself unprepared for the next stop on their tour, her family home. Linhua's mother meets Soren, her daughter's secret fiancé, for the first time. What will this encounter mean for their clandestine engagement? Exquisite Blood, The Heretic on Myoji, Volume 2. After securing the first 2 sacred relics, Fuzuki, Hakuro, and Ranmaru are immediately summoned to appear before the Imperial Court, where they're plunged into political scheming and a cutthroat fight for possessions of the relics. Just as the situation seems most dire, the Emperor himself intervenes. The Strongest Sage with the Weakest Crest, Volume 27. Matty and his friends begin the difficult task of mining the bodolite ore. Fortunately, there's plenty of ore to be harvested, but transporting and processing the precious ore is quite difficult due to the special nature of the bodolite and the marinite zone's flight magic prohibition. As always, Matthias has a plan, and whatever troubles may come, nothing will stop him from forging a transcendent sword. These are most of the manga and manhwa releases for the first half of November. I hope there's something there for you. There are plenty of volumes that I've written down that I want to buy. And 7 Seas Entertainment seems to be releasing a lot of new series this month as well, which is always good. As always, if you'd like to use the code Jay'sManga to get an extra 5% off at SciFier.com, feel free to use the code. I've got the link down in the description below. Let me know what you're planning to buy, and please do like and subscribe. Happy manga buying month, everyone. Bye!